Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, episode 225. AKA the Spottieottiedope-A-Show, a marathon, Thanksgiving marathon here, hosted by yours truly, John June, and my guy, Greg Penniman. Greg, what's good, man?
What's going on? We're close to this Thanksgiving special. We got Thanksgiving special episode right now. I'm gonna go run through every game this week. I'm excited. I'm excited just for Thanksgiving have these games. Usually, it's a good nice pause to the day, or a good nice end whenever you have your food or you're about to have your food. It's just always a nice time and to watch some football on Thursday.
Thanksgiving, definitely my favorite holiday, man. I mean, family, food, football, the three Fs, the three best Fs. It's awesome. So, sitting around with family, watching the games, getting to see all the games, the 12 o'clock or the noon game, the 4 p.m. game, and the Sunday and the Thursday night game, the 8 p.m. game. So it's definitely awesome, especially when the games are good. That definitely helps. But like you said, we're going to jump through every game. We are going to, again, this is going to be one whole episode. Again, you can consume it however you'd like. You could have it all in one sitting. You can save some leftovers for later in the week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, however you want to do it. The choice is yours, but we will break down everything for you that you normally get in 1 week. You will get it in one episode. That is right. We're talking streams of the week. We're talking Thursday night football. Well, we got 3 Thursday games, so we're talking all those games. We're talking all the 1 p.m. games, all the 4 p.m. games, starts of the week, and we're going to play some Get Money. And we've got a little game mixed in there for you. So bear with us. Have fun. It is a Tuesday night here, so mind that the information that we give you in regards to injuries, I don't even have any injuries on the notes. So I'm not going to go through the injury report like I usually do. If there's somebody that is injured, like that we know is injured, I will obviously talk about it. But I'm not going to prognosticate much on injuries in much detail because, again, it's Tuesday. We don't have much detailed injury reports as opposed to, other than the guys that are playing on Thursday. But all that being said, let's jump into it here. Greg, your quarterback stream of the week, man. What do you got?
I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa. He's at 43%. Going against the Carolina Panthers. Just a solid run for Tua Tagovailoa over the last couple of weeks. Also, the fact Carolina coming off probably one of their worst games against quarterbacks, giving up 3 passing touchdowns to Taylor Heineke last week. I think they can, be a play here, and the game could have some points to be had. So I'm gonna go with Tua this week.
Yeah, definitely like Tua. He was a popular streaming option last week. Finished as a top 12 option. And speaking of last week, I'm going to the matchup that he had last week. I'm going with Tyrod Taylor, 6% rostered in Yahoo leagues, going up against the New York Jets. Over the last 3 weeks, the Jets have allowed 20.8 fantasy points to the quarterback position. That's 4th most during that span. And Tyrod, he's been pretty good on the year with at least 16.5 points in 3 of his 4 starts this year. I think he's a viable stream, and obviously, as we always like, has that upside with his legs.
Yeah, definitely like that for sure.
Greg, your tight end stream of the week, man. What do we got?
I'm gonna go with Evan Ingram here. Just based off the matchup, he's going against Philly this week. Philly again right now the best matchup for tight ends. As they've been giving up over 70 yards to tight ends, about 7 receptions a game. And Evan Ingram didn't get a touchdown last week, but before that had 2 straight weeks with a touchdown. A guy at least 5. He's going to get at least 5 targets in this game. A game I think where this offense as a whole needs to bounce back. Just got rid of Jason Garrett. Want to use probably one of the most talented players. So Evan Ingram versus Philly.
I'm in pain because Evan Ingram versus Philly was my tight end stream of the week as well. I will add some to what you said, though. I mean, like you said, number one in terms of fantasy points allowed to the position, 26 PPR points over the last 3 weeks. They have allowed 2 tight ends. That is well above the league average. And like you said, could benefit here from a new play caller. I will throw out the typicals. I'm not even going to check because I will assume that after what they did last week, the rostership will have gone down. But Tyler Conklin and Dan Arnold both still in play as streaming options.
Yep.
Greg, defensive stream of the week, man. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with Chicago's defense versus Detroit. I think the strategy of attacking and destroy is always a good strategy. If you're streaming defenses, Chicago this week, a team that can get sacks. Robert Quinn, guy's been getting a lot of sacks this year. 27% rostered. So a team that's gonna keep you safe. Detroit is not gonna score many points at all. It doesn't matter who they're playing. So pick them up.
Yeah, Detroit is a good one. They were also here for me as a potential one. Actually, your boy got out ahead of it a little bit. If I had had an extra roster spot in a couple leagues, and they were playing Baltimore, so they were out there. So
right, yep.
I don't have to compete with my league mates on waivers, but I'm going with Atlanta. 2% rostered in Yahoo leagues. They get to play against Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. And they're available. So they are my stream. Let's move on, man. So, Greg, we referenced the game. We alluded to it. We are comparing fantasy players, to Thanksgiving foods. I will let you lead. What is your first comparison here for the people this evening?
So I'm gonna go with the fact that this is not the start of this, but turkey is just something that seems like every Thanksgiving dinner is one of the must-haves in the sport of fantasy, in the sport of football. Some could be sometimes dry, so that's Tom Brady, man. That's he's what the sport needs every year. He's with the sport. Thanksgiving, this league has been for the last 20 years. He's just been a staple of what football has been about. And fantasy, he's doing really well. He's the quarterback 3, I believe, in fantasy, or the quarterback 4. And so he's doing well as well in fantasy. He's always been a staple. So, yeah, I'm going to go with turkey as Tom Brady.
That's a good one, man. I think number one here. I think what I'm going to go with for my comparison, I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor, macaroni and cheese.
Same. I had the same thing. Yes, sir.
If you could take the number one pick of fantasy players right now, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. And if you can take your number one pick of sides, it's probably going to be the mac and cheese. So, and you know what? Jonathan Taylor, it's heavy. It's got some weight to it, right? Mm-hmm. But it's also you can spice it up a little bit. You can season it. You can throw some garlic, some peppers, some onions in there. Spice it up a little bit. Flavor up your mac and cheese. And that's what Jonathan Taylor is. He doesn't just beat you with that power. He also can spice it up a little bit too there. So Jonathan Taylor, mac and cheese.
Yeah. It's always a thing people want more of. So that's what kind of what the fans of JT want too. More carries for JT. Give that man the ball.
I like that one, man. You got another comparison for the people here, Greg.
I'm gonna go with that apple pie. The dessert, the sweet. If you have this player in your team, like you like, oh man, I'm just eating sweet today and good. That's Lamar Jackson, man. Just having him on your team, like that's the icing on the cake. That's the dessert. The fact that at any point he can just lead your team to victory, no matter what the deficit. no matter what the situation you are in fantasy. It's showtime for him. Like he comes to play, and that's having that dessert because I feel like he's just always still undervalued for what he is as a player.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Actually had for Turkey, I had an interesting one. Kickers, man. They don't get all the respect, but
that's like salad, yo. They should be salad.
It's like salad. They don't get all the respect, but at the end of the day, their Thanksgiving is not Thanksgiving without the turkey, and just fantasy football isn't fantasy football without the kickers. So I'm just gonna I know I'm probably gonna irk a lot of people by saying that.
Yo, it's salad. It's the thing that people don't want,
don't want,
but it's good for you. You need. I don't know.
No, that's IDP.
IDP. Oh, word. True.
Anything else here for the people, Greg?
Lastly, I got the mashed potatoes. Everyone's one of other people's heavy favorite. And that's just giving love to the wide receivers, specifically Javonte and Cooper Kupp. Those two, I think, are definitely the mashed potatoes of the dish. They are just on your team. They bring that explosiveness, especially in PPR leagues that just can finish the wide receiver one every week. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Definitely like that one. You know what? I think we'll just end it here. It was a good segment. We'll just end it on a high note here. And let's break down some games, man. Starting with our first Thursday game here. I don't know why we are subjected to this every year, but the 3-7 Chicago Bears are traveling to Detroit to take on the 0-9-1 Detroit Lions. This game has a 41.5 point total. The Chicago Bears are 3.5 point favorites. In terms of this game here, I'm going to take. Well, the big injury to note here is that Justin Fields is out. Andy Dalton's making the start, so that's that. I am going to take the over here. I'm going to take the Bears to cover. I'm going to take the Bears to win this game. On the Chicago side, I really like David Montgomery this week. I know, Greg, he was your start of the week last week. Probably wish we could got a better performance out of him. I think he was probably saving that performance here for this week. He knew Thursday was coming. They played the early game too, so he had to save some of that juice. Think he gets it this week. Real nice spot here. I think Darnell Mooney sets up as a wide receiver too. Andy Dalton definitely helps this offense a lot from a pass offense perspective. I think Cole Kmet is also playable here. And then on the Detroit side, DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, end of list.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I'm taking the Chicago Bears to cover, and I'm also taking the Bears to win. I agree with you on Chicago side. David Montgomery has that start of the week potential again this week, even with the better matchup. Should continue to see the bulk of the carries. I also had a season high in routes last week at 20, so that's a good sign. Darnell Mooney, I think, is into that weekly wide receiver 3 category. I think definitely the most relevant Bears pass catcher of the season. Had a healthy target share all year, actually at close to 25%, close to 100 air yards for section shade game. So continue to play Mooney with some confidence. And Cole Kmet, he's in a streaming category as he should be hopefully in a bounce back spot. Detroit is the same thing every week. Swift and Hawk. I mean, Swift has been your PPR RB5, and Hawkinson has been your tight end PPR RB5, tight end 5. So that's awesome by them to actually be relevant in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, Swift's production has been awesome. Hawkinson's been a little up and down, more up and down than you would like. But in this economy, what else can you ask for from a tight end?
Yep.
Moving on to the 4:30 p.m. matchup here on Thursday. The 5-5 Las Vegas Raiders are traveling to Dallas to take on the 7-3 Dallas Cowboys. This game has a 51 point total. Dallas Cowboys are 7-point favorites here. Greg, in terms of this matchup, where are you going?
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take Dallas to cover and Dallas to win. Just on the Vegas side, mentioned it early in the week, or just in general, the Vegas just is not the same without Ruggs. They just really don't really know how to stretch the field. Josh Jacobs, though, he's a lone RB2 in this matchup. I was encouraged by his target share in week 11, saw the second most on the team. So that's a very good sign for a player like Jacobs to increase his floor. Darren Waller, again, top 3 tight end play, seems to be the only one that really know how to get the ball to. Renfro's a low ceiling wide receiver 3. On Dallas side, you hope this would be again a bounce back situation for this Dallas offense. Hopefully we don't keep saying that they're in a bounce back spot. That means they did horrible the week before. But Dak, I like QB1. Zeke as RB1. Lamb, we saw that he still has a chance to play. So that's pretty solid news. If he's playing, he is a wide receiver 1. That would slide Gallups down to that low end wide receiver 2 territory. But without Lamb, Gallup definitely this team in targets, with Cedric Wilson getting some deeper league intrigue, and Dalton Schultz, as that third pass catching option in his offense. He's been a tight end 1, mid-tier tight end 1, played 100% of the snaps last week, so definitely a great sign for that player.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over here. I'm going to take Vegas to cover, Dallas to win. On the Dallas side, Dak, he's I mean, if CeeDee Lamb plays, that'd be awesome. I mean, I would, again, I always plan to be without these guys, and if I get them, great. But in the event that CD doesn't play, I think Dak loses a little bit of upside with the loss of his weapons. I'm not going out of my way to replace him, though. I think Dallas probably leans on the run game here, heavy, especially since Las Vegas is 25th, the 25th ranked rush defense and early down rush EPA on defense. I really expect, obviously Zeke to have an impact in this game. I also expect Tony Pollard to make an impact in this game as well, coming off a short week. Zeke did practice in full, though, which again I was shocked to see that. Michael Gallup, he's an easy wide receiver too if CD can't go. Cedric Wilson enters wide receiver 3 territory for sure if CD can't go. And on the Vegas side, yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with Derek Carr. Really seems to basically be in the tank without Ruggs there. Darren Waller, though, he's a top 3 option, I think, at the tight end position. Josh Jacobs, yeah, his target share has gone up, which I really like. Has seen 7 targets, saw 7 targets last week, 5 targets before. So I really like that number there for Josh Jacobs, especially when you know what he can do if they get around the goal line. I like Hunter Renfrow to bounce back this week, and I'm off Bryan Edwards.
Yeah, nope.
Just completely dudded me out last week with a 0 there. Like, I'm done. Moving on to the final matchup here on Thursday, 8:20 p.m. matchup. The 6-4 Buffalo Bills take on the 5-5 New Orleans Saints. This game has a 46.5 point total. The Bills are 4-point favorites in this one. I'm going to take the over here. I'm going to take Buffalo to cover, Buffalo to win. Josh Allen, I say this every week, but he can legit go nuclear this week. I think it happens against New Orleans. Greg is shaking his head no.
No, I think it can happen, but that's
yeah.
He's all based off his year. This is the good week because he did have coming off the bad week, so this is the good week now.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Greg, New Orleans has been absolutely terrible against quarterbacks. They've given up at least 18 standard scoring quarterback points the last 4 games, and they've given up 25 in 3 of those 4 games. This is a nice get right spot here for Mr. Allen. So naturally, I like his weapons, like wide receiver 1 here, Stephon Diggs. Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley are both in play as wide receiver 3s. Dawson Knox, he's back in tight end 1 territory. On the New Orleans side, some injury news. Alvin Kamara, he did not practice again today, or in the practice estimation, he was listed as DNP. Mark Ingram was also added to the injury report with a knee injury, so seems like he's in danger of potentially missing this game on a short week. So that would leave Tony Jones as the lead guy in this backfield. Again, Buffalo, they didn't show it last week, but they've been a pretty good team against the run.
I mean, that's Jonathan Taylor, you know.
That is a fact.
He's
that is
now,
a fact.
yeah, he's an exception.
Curious to see if Taysom Hill gets to start here for New Orleans or if he gets any playing time. But outside of that, it's tough sledding for New Orleans. I don't think I could really touch anybody or recommend playing anybody. Although Sean Payton's not going to get shut out like completely from this game. So, yeah.
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take New Orleans to cover. I'm gonna take Buffalo to win. I do agree, Choo on Buffalo side. New Orleans has been so bad against quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks, giving up 3 total touchdowns per game. I mean, Jalen Hurts, you still see those New Orleans ankles on the field. So I mean, you definitely have a good spot here for Josh Allen, who's got to be a top 5 option. Let's just hope he can have that consistency down the stretch when it gets to playoff time, fantasy playoff time. Diggs, wide receiver 1, Cole and Beasley and Sanders. Beasley's a little he's limited in practice, but if he's able to go, I think both of those guys are in wide receiver 3 category. Dawson Knox back to that mid-tier tight end 1 level, coming off a season high in snap share, routes, targets. I think he had one of his best games of the season, actually. And yeah, New Orleans, you don't really know who's going to start at QB. If it's Simeon, though, he has finished QB 15, QB 4, and QB 4. Like, he's been actually pretty solid in the last couple of weeks. So I'm willing to put him out there as a high-end QB 2. And same situation with Kamara and Mark Ingram. I mean, if those guys can go and you're the manager, if you had Kamara and you had Ingram, I mean, if you it's Thursday, so it's tough. You have to plug and play Tony Jones and just hope for the best because it's a lot of slim pickings at running back. And yeah, without Adam Trautman, there's really no one that's catching the ball. Traquan Smith did have 8 targets last week. He's probably the only name that'll pop up for me if I'm in a deeper league and need somebody.
Are you not concerned about the fact that they're going up against Buffalo?
No, because Buffalo is just weird. Buffalo even that good? Like, they might not even win the division.
Let's move on to Sunday, 1 p.m. We've got the 8-3 Tennessee Titans traveling to New England to take on the 7-4 New England Patriots. This game has a 44.5 point total. The New England Patriots are 5.5 point favorites here. Greg, where do you stand on this matchup?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans to cover, but I'm going to take New England to win. On Tennessee side, it's just been tough. Not Ryan Tannehill has held his own, so I think he's still startable. I think he's in that, again, high in QB2 territory. The running backs, I'm not touching really anybody on the Tennessee running back situation. I don't know who's going to be the guy if they're behind. Maybe it's Dontre Hilliard. If they're winning, seems like it'll be the Dante Foreman getting work, but we'll see. As far as the receivers, if AJ Brown's able to go, you're playing him, and that's about it. On the Patriots side, Mac Jones, I think, is in streaming category here. Tennessee isn't very good against quarterbacks, so he does have a solid matchup like he did last week, so he won't kill you. Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are both low-end running back 2s, as they probably split the work again. And Kendrick Bourne is, again, in that low-end wide receiver 3 category.
Yeah, I'm going to take. I'm semi with you on this game. I'm going to take the under here, but I am going to take Tennessee to cover, New England to win. On the New England side, I think both Stevenson and Harrison and Stevenson. I think both Stevenson and Harris have option or can be options as RB2s, RB3s potentially. If I had to play one, it would probably be Stevenson. Kendrick Bourne is a high-end wide receiver 3 for me. Again, I really like his his deep playability and what he could be as a down the field presence for this offense. Jacoby Myers, a safe wide receiver 3, with a safe floor wide receiver 3. Mac Jones, QB2 option, specifically 2 quarterback leagues. On the Tennessee side, I'm off Tanny this week, and it's mainly about what New England's done. I mean, they've single-digit quarterbacks allowed since week 7, to single digits in 3 of the last 5 weeks, or 4 of the last 5 weeks, going back to week 7. The only quarterback to hit double digits was Justin Herbert, and even that was 13.8 points. And AJ Brown's banged up, so with that being said, I'm going to be off Tanny. I will reluctantly play AJ Brown, although because the matchup again is not going to be great. But AJ Brown had a decent amount of success against the Patriots in the past, so I will play him. Dontrell Hilliard had 10 targets in the past game, so I think that makes him somewhat usable. Also, did see a healthy 5 yards per carry in the run game as well. So, D'Onta Foreman, I think, will have a role depending on how this game goes, but I just can't see him, with them being, the Titans being underdogs here, and this game script potentially being, in a way where they'll be down, and the Patriots being the offense that they are, and D'Onta Foreman not seeing enough targets in the pass game. I just think that just makes him really one-dimensional and probably the back that they go away from in this game. But it's just speculating on my part. Moving on to the next game here, the 2-8 New York Jets traveling to Houston to take on the 2-8 Houston Texans. This game has a 44.5 point total. The Texans are 3-point favorites. In terms of this game here, I'm going to take the over. I am going to take the Jets to cover. I am going to take the Jets to win. There was some breaking news today. Zach Wilson, he was expected to get the start, but Joe Flacco and Mike White both end up on the COVID reserve list, so he definitely, no questions about it, will get the start. On the Houston side, Tyrod, he's a QB1 for me this week. He's my quarterback stream of the week. Brandon Cooks, he's a wide receiver 1 in this matchup against the Jets secondary that has, again, over the last 2 weeks has given up the wide receiver 1 and the wide receiver 10. David Johnson, he gets an upgrade in this matchup, so he probably settles in as an RB3. And so does Rex Burkhead, I guess. Also, Philip Lindsay got released today, so that more opportunities for those guys. On the Jets side, Elijah Moore, he's a wide receiver 1 going forward. I think he's earned that to be in your lineup going forward on a weekly basis. Ty Johnson, I believe, will be the main benefactor here in the backfield going forward. So I think he's an RB2, but be on the lookout for Tevin Coleman as well. And then Jamison Crowder and Corey Davis, they're both wide receiver 3s with upside for slightly more than that.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Houston to cover and Houston to win. I'm with you on the analysis, though, with the Houston side. Tyrod's in a good spot here. And his main guy, Brandon Cooks, is also in a great spot here. So I think they're both playable and they both get a bump. Brandon Cooks, it definitely should be a strong wide receiver 2 category for sure. I'm glad they have slimmed this backfield down to finally, David Johnson and Rex Burkhead. David Johnson should lead in touches, so he has some RB3 value. And on the Jet side, agree with you. Ty Johnson should have the slight edge if especially rest of the season. Rest of the season time, Michael Carter's out because of the game script that the Jets are usually in, and just receptions are king, especially in PPR leagues. Elijah Moore, you're playing him. I have him as a ranked wide receiver 2 weekly nowadays, especially higher than Corey Davis. And yeah, Crowder is that PPR wide receiver 3 that you could rely on as well.
Definitely. Moving on to this next game here, we got the 5-6 Philadelphia Eagles traveling to MetLife. This record can't be right that I have here for the Giants. Oh, it's because
3-7.
the
Yeah, they lost last
3-7.
night.
Yeah, the 3-7 New York Giants. This game has a 46.5 point total. The Philadelphia Eagles are 3-point favorites here. Greg, where are you in terms of this matchup here?
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Eagles to cover and the Eagles to win. I was about to pick the Giants just because of that, the getting rid of Jason Garrett. Teams getting inspired after making a move like that. But I still think the Eagles on a roll right now. On the Eagles side, Jalen Hurts continue to fire him up. I believe he is now the QB1 in fantasy. That is, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, keep him rolling. Miles Sanders, he should be in a good spot here, especially with the injury to Jordan Howard and just him being healthier. Miles Sanders himself, he should be on track to lead this team in carries and touches with the running backs. So I have him as an RB2. And as far as their receivers, Devontae Smith is the only one I'm really playing. They kind of funneled this offense to him passing wise. And on the Giants side, I'm off of Daniel Jones until I can see it. I'm off of. Kadarius Toney, 12 targets. I do like that number. So I have him in wide receiver 3 category. Saquon, I think he's not going to be outside my top 20 ever. Just want to see something better from this offense. It's been pretty abysmal. Like they cannot score. Graham Gano, I think the stat they're showing that 30% or 40% of their offense comes from field goal kicks. This team, I just need to see it. So I mean, until I do see it, they all get kind of at a slight bump down. Like their cap is so pretty tough, especially in shallow leagues. If you have better play than like a Saquon or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. I think they bounced back this week. Philadelphia. Well, I am going to take the over. I am going to take Philly to cover. I am going to take Philly to win. I think Daniel Jones could potentially sneak into a QB1 finish here. Saquon could also, I agree with you. He's probably not in that RB1 conversation because of the offense that they're in. Hopefully, he can get better with Freddie Kitchens. I mean, that's definitely the hope there. But I think he's a mid-range RB1 potentially, mid-range RB2, high-end RB2 that can get into the middle RB1. But Kadarius Toney, he definitely faces another tough matchup. Philly has been good against wide receivers, so it's definitely tough there. But they've been terrible against tight ends, and that's where Evan Ingram comes in as our tight end stream of the week. On the Philadelphia side, Jalen Hurts, once again, a top 3 option at the quarterback position. Devontae Smith, a wide receiver 1 for me this week. Dallas Goedert, he's seen an absurd 35% target share in the last 3 weeks. And so just got paid, so just continue to fire him up as a top 7 option at the tight end position. And then Miles Sanders, I think, comes into a good matchup here against a weak Giants rush defense. I have him down as an RB2, but there's obviously upside for more than that.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Hopefully he can back to being a good running back. It'd be nice to possibly be a league winner.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice. Moving on to this next matchup here, we've got the 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 7-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, you can see I didn't update my sheet after Monday Night Football. The 7-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Indianapolis to take on the hot fire Indianapolis Colts. 6-5 Indianapolis Colts. In terms of this matchup here, I am going to take the over. You could call this a cop out, whatever you want to do. I was going back and forth on this game so much, but I'm going to take Indianapolis to cover 3 points, but I will take Tampa Bay to win the game. JT, on the Indianapolis side, RB1 again. I mean, he's got to be considered the RB1, tough matchup or not. You have to play the man for sure. The question is not playing him. The question is just, will he finish as a top 3 running back again? Given the matchup and the history that Tampa Bay has against running backs on the season. But we saw Antonio Gibson get it done a couple weeks ago. So, give the man the ball enough, see what happens.
Just give it to him.
Wentz is a mid-range QB2. I think the nature of this game, I could see this really being a weird game. I think he has some upside for more in this one, especially with all the attention being on Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman, he's in that wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 territory. I think he's always in line to catch a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor's not going to score 5 touchdowns every week. Some of those are going to end up going to guys like Michael Pittman. And then I think Naheem Hines has some intrigue in this game as well. So curious to see how this goes out. But Tom Brady on the Tampa Bay side, he's going to go off in this one against Indianapolis. I just definitely see a top flight performance coming here from TB12. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're both wide receiver 1s, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 upside. Obviously, you see how it goes. Chris Godwin was his day on Monday night, and we've seen Mike Evans have his day as well. And if AB can go, that'd be a huge boost for this pass offense. But then on the run game, Lenny, I think, is an RB1, borderline RB2. Got a touchdown stolen from him yesterday by Rojo, but I think he's the back that you want to roster in this backfield and play.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over. I'm also gonna take Tampa to cover and Tampa to win, but I would not be surprised if Indy won. Just they have the formula to win every game, honestly, because they have JT, man. That's how Tennessee was winning games against these tough teams. You could do it as long as you got a workhorse running back to control the offense. And yeah, you can score points on the Bucs. They're not as scary as defense as they were last year. You just need a offense that's compatible, but obviously the Giants can't do that. So I do like Carson Wentz a little bit. I think he is in that high-end QB2 range as well. I do love JT. There's nothing really more to be said about him at this point. No matter what matchup he's facing. Michael Pittman, he's a low-end he's a high-end wide receiver 2 for me. I think we'll have to rely back on him on Michael Pittman and throwing the ball down the field. So you like him. On the Tampa Bay side, Tom Brady mentioned how he's been doing well this year. He's the quarterback 2 this year in fantasy, so he's money. You expect him to go off. I agree with you. And Fournette, low-end RB1 in this matchup. I do love Godwin and Evans. Godwin has been killing of late. And I do love Gronk this week, especially in this matchup. Indy is also not very good against tight ends. So, Gronk is healthier and should be better, especially if AB can't go again.
Yeah. Moving on to this next 1 p.m. matchup, we got the 4-6 Atlanta Falcons traveling to Jacksonville to take on the 2-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. This game has a 46.5 point total. The Atlanta Falcons are 1-point favorites, essentially a pick 'em here. Greg, where are you going with this matchup?
With this matchup, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Atlanta to cover. I'm going to take Atlanta to win. On Jacksonville's side, I did mention Trevor Lawrence as a desperation stream quarterback. I think I do like his matchup here. Atlanta's horrible against quarterbacks, so I think he's gonna be able to have a decent day, especially for 2 quarterback leagues. James Robinson, he's an RB1. If I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna be decent, I think Marvin Jones would probably be the main beneficiary, and the other, Jawag was on injured reserve, which is definitely not good for this offense. He was definitely someone, I know you like throughout the year. So hopefully Laviska Shenault, it's got to take a lot of people to get hurt first. Laviska to hopefully get some touches. But I think Marvin Jones is in that wide receiver 3 category. On Atlanta side, Cordell Patterson, he's questionable. You hope he can come back and play. If he does, he's back in that RB1 / wide receiver 1 category. Kyle Pitts, he's back, not playing New England, so he's back to where he should be as a top 5 tight end. And yeah, I'm not gonna. I think Trevor Lawrence still has a better finish than Matt Ryan this week, so I'm gonna stay off Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I am going to take the under here. I'm going to take the Falcons to cover. I'm going to take the Falcons to win. Definitely hoping that Cordell Patterson can play. If he can go, he's I think a top 10 option at whatever position you want to play him at. Kyle Pitts, top 5 option at the tight end position. Russell Gage, I think, has some intrigue. Regardless, though, I mean, Matt Ryan's going to have to throw the ball to somebody. So even if Cordell Patterson doesn't go, especially if Cordell Patterson doesn't go, I think Russell Gage has some intrigue. On the Jacksonville side, I do like Trevor Lawrence as well. Not a bad quarterback play this week for desperate managers there, especially those in 2 quarterback leagues. James Robinson, I think he's an RB2. Obviously, his volume always puts him in line to potentially produce more than that as more than an RB2. Marvin Jones, I'm with you. He's the wide receiver that I probably would play if I had to play one. Dan Arnold's still a streaming option. And yeah, like, who has to decide that they want to quit football in order for Laviska Shenault to be good, to be usable? Like, who is it?
I don't know.
Because I really want to know.
Facts, bro.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to this next matchup. The 5-6 Carolina Panthers traveling to Miami to take on the 3-8 Miami Dolphins. This game has a 42.5 point total. The Carolina Panthers are 1-point favorites, where this is essentially a pick'em. In terms of this matchup here, I am going to take the under. I am going to take Carolina to cover. I will take Carolina to win. On the Carolina side, CMC, he's an RB1. Cam Newton, he's a QB1. DJ Moore, he's a wide receiver 2 for me. Robbie Anderson, a wide receiver 3. Obviously, both those guys have upside for more than that. Jalen Waddle on the Miami side, he's a high-end wide receiver 2. I called Tua this week a high-end quarterback 2. That's your quarterback streaming week. I definitely think there's QB1 potential there for sure. Myles Gaskin, he's now getting the volume that can be considered that RB2, RB3 again that we liked coming into this year. And then Mike Gesicki, he's been down, but I'm going to continue to lean on him at the tight end position.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take Carolina to cover, Carolina to win. On Carolina side, I do really love Tua. I mean, not Tua this week. I do really love Cam this week. Cam is in a great spot. Miami's also horrible against quarterbacks. You saw what Cam did last week. He's definitely a QB1. CMC, RB1, just slide him in there. Top 2, top 3, wherever every week with the highest floor of any of these running backs in fantasy. DJ Moore, low wide receiver 2, and Robbie Anderson bumped down to right outside the top 30 for me. And on Miami side, I do have Tua. Yep, as is my streamer of the week. So I think he's definitely serviceable here. Myles Gaskin, continuing to play him and in that running back 2 category. And Jalen Waddle will continue to play well, get you 5 to 6 receptions a game, and just give you a very safe floor. And Gesicki, those 2 weapons all year has been great for Tua and whoever the quarterback is for Miami as far as pass catching.
Definitely. And then moving on to our last 1 p.m. game here, we've got the 5-4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Cincinnati to take on the 6-4 Cincinnati Bengals. This game has a 45.5 point total, where the Bengals are 3.5 point favorites. Greg, where are you at with this matchup?
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to cover, but I'm going to take Cincy to win. On the Bengals side, Joe Burrow, think he's a low-end QB1 in this matchup. Joe Mixon, though, he's an RB1. Just the volume he's going to get every week. You like his what he can do in a game. As far as the receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, those are my 1-2. Tyler Boyd is questionable, so keep an eye on that. But if he's not able to go, that just kind of gives an extra bump to those two guys as far as target share. And on the Steelers side, Ben, I think, I also mentioned him as being a guy that is in play. He's been better, definitely, in the second half of the year. Only has 4 picks on the year, too, so hasn't been killing you. So I think he's playable. Najee Harris, of course, your RB1. I think you're able to survive that concussion, so you continue to play him. And Deontay Johnson will continue to be a low-end wide receiver 1. And Claypool, I think he's also a low-end wide receiver 2. To our top 24 play, who's been pretty consistent. As long as he stay healthy, he able to have some intrigue. Pat Frymouth, tight end 1, low-end tight end 1. I mean, he's been sharing the snaps with Ebron a little bit more and more, but he still has the touchdown upside. So I like him as the touchdown preference.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Ebron. Ebron is actually out he had to have surgery, so he'll be out for an extended period of time, which means all those tight end snaps are going to Patty Muth.
Yes, sir. Move.
Yeah, I love the Steelers fans always find a way to do that for a tight end.
Word.
But moving on to my picks for this game, I'm taking the under here, taking the Steelers to cover, taking the Bengals to win though. Joe Mixon, bona fide RB1 for sure in this matchup. Joe Burrow, he's borderline QB1 on that QB1 QB2 border for me. Jamar Chase, he's come back down to earth a little bit, but I still think you roll him out there as you do with Higgins, who I know has definitely been frustrating for managers, but I'm not off Higgins. For the Steelers, Najee, top 5 running back for sure this week. Deontay Johnson, that high-end wide receiver 2. Chase Claypool, he's come on as well, so he's a wide receiver 2 for me. And then Patty Frymouth, he's a rest of season tight end 1 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the sleeper tight end of the year for me.
And the first 4:00 game here, 4:05 p.m., we got the 6-4 LA Chargers traveling to Denver to take on the 5-5 Denver Broncos. This game has a 47-point total, where the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites here. In terms of this matchup here, I am going to take the over. I am going to take the Chargers to cover. I am going to take the Chargers to win. On the Denver side, Teddy B, he's a QB2 this week. I think Jerry Jeudy, he's a wide receiver 1 in a great matchup here this week. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, both RB2s with definitely upside for more. I'm comfortable starting both of them, I think, in a matchup like this against a Chargers defense that struggled against the run. Tim Patrick, he's a wide receiver 2. And I think Courtland Sutton, although he did get paid along with Tim Patrick, Courtland Sutton will have to be the odd man out for me this week. He'll have to he'll go on Mike Williams probation. He'll have to prove it to me. And hopefully he goes off for 20 points on my bench and somebody else's starting lineup. At tight end, I think the matchup here is good for both of these guys to have an opportunity to make a play, or to have some impact. I obviously will lean Fant, assuming that he is healthy and fully ready to go. On the Chargers side, Herbert, QB1 this week. Keenan Allen, great spot here against Denver. Eckler, going to be that RB1 for you. Not going to score 4 touchdowns again this week. I mean, maybe he might. That'd be awesome. But Mike Williams, he's earned our trust back as a wide receiver 2 for now.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Denver to cover, and I'm going to take Denver to win. Them being home, I think, given the slight edge, and this division has just been so just even par. On Denver side, Teddy Two Glove, I do agree, is in that QB2 territory. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, the prime example of that, just the running backs eating each other up. But I do think they're both in that low end RB2 category, like Harrison, Stevenson. as far as the receivers, they're just locking up Sutton and Tim Patrick, man. They're just preparing for Aaron Rodgers, man. They're just doing all these moves, man, to get it done, to show the stability of all the targets that Aaron Rodgers could have on his team. But I agree, if I had to rank them, it is Judy, then Tim Patrick, and then Sutton. Noah Fant, he's in a great matchup here. I think he's in start of the week, potential here. So I do like Noah Fant for sure as a mid-tier tight end one. On the Chargers side, you're starting Herbert as a QB1. He's the QB5 on the year, I believe, right now. And yeah, Eckler, you're playing him. Just can do it in rushing, passing, no matter what you could do. He's a top 5 player at the RB rest of the season. Keenan Allen, wide receiver 1, and then Mike Williams, yeah, he's definitely back into that top 30 value with some boom because he can always get into the end zone.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Moving on to our next 4 p.m. game, 4:25 p.m. We've got the 5-5 Minnesota Vikings traveling to Santa Clara to take on the 5-5 San Francisco 49ers. This game has a 48.5 point total where the Niners are 3-point favorites. Greg, where are you at with this matchup here?
I'm taking the over. I'm taking San Fran to cover and San Fran to win. I think there'll be a lot of points in this game, kind of like the Minnesota Green Bay game last week. So I do love Kirk Cousins. I do love his weapons, and Dalvin Cook, top 5 play for RB1. Still only 4 touchdowns on the year. I think he can definitely get more positive regression for more. Jefferson and Thielen both have wide receiver 1 upside. I think, defenses, well, the 49ers are kind of will focus a little more on Jefferson this week, so maybe Thielen will get some action after what Jefferson did last week. And Tyler Conklin, that streaming conversation tight end that you always will need on Sunday morning. If you need a tight end, he'll be there. On the 49ers side, Jimmy G will continue to be a quality streaming option over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Continue to play him with some low and borderline QB1 upside. No, Elijah Mitchell is questionable, but so we'll keep an eye on his status for sure. And if he's able to go, of course, he's the lead option. If not, Jeff Wilson Jr. will probably get the bulk of the touches, but you're not expecting the same outcome, especially as Elijah Mitchell, who has a RB1 upside. And Brandon Ayuk, the receivers are in a great spot here. Brandon Ayuk, I think, is in an excellent spot here, and Deebo Samuel as well. And George Kittle, of course. 1, 2, 3 with Darren Waller and Travis Kelce every week.
Yeah, this game has some intrigue to me. You got the Kyle Shanahan, Kirk Cousins connection from their days in Washington. So that's interesting for sure. But I am going to take the over here. I am going to take Minnesota to cover. I am going to take Minnesota to win on a Minnesota. I feel like I've just been disrespecting Minnesota way too much. They keep getting these wins against quality teams, and I'm like picking against them every week. So I'm pick them against the Niners team, which shouldn't be favored when you really look at the quality of the wins that each team has. I mean, outside of the Rams win, that's up there. But the Vikings went toe to toe with the Cardinals and whatnot. But whatever, neither here nor there. On the Minnesota side, Justin Jefferson, he's a wide receiver 1 for sure. Dalvin Cook, think this is a bounce back week for him as a top 3 option at the position. Kirk Cousins should be able to continue staying hot against the Niners. Adam Thielen, he's in that wide receiver 3 range with the upside for more because obviously he has the ability to catch a touchdown literally every week. So on the Niners side, yeah, this is an awesome matchup for the wide receivers. Deebo Samuel, who's like a pseudo running back here for the 49ers. Obviously, that adds to his floor, so that's awesome. Brandon Ayuk, I think he's in weekly wide receiver 2 territory now, just based on his usage and where his volume is at. And then Jimmy G, he's in a really good spot here to be lower end QB1. And like you were saying, George Kittle back to being a top 3 option at the tight end position. So I definitely like that for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be a sneaky, very fun game. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, definitely. At the same time, at 4:25 p.m. in Green Bay, Wisconsin, we will have the 7-3 LA Rams taking on the 8-3 Green Bay Packers, where this game has a 48.5 point total. The Green Bay Packers are 1 point favorites, so essentially a pick 'em here. I'm going to take the over here. I'm going to take Green Bay to cover. I will take Green Bay to win. On the Green Bay side, Aaron Rodgers, QB1, Davante Adams, and A.J. Dillon. I think they're both ones at their position. I mean, the matchup is relatively tough here going up against the Rams, but a game where there should be a decent amount of points. You've got Sean McVay, Mike LaFleur, or Matt LaFleur. There should be, again, a decent amount of scoring opportunities here. So definitely like that. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's in line here for for another big week potentially. On the Rams side, Matthew Stafford, he's cooled off a bit, but again, Sean McVay coming off a loss, off of the bye week, I think he gets him and this entire Rams offense right. Cooper Kupp, not quite top, not quite the wide receiver one for me this week, but he is a top 5 option for me at the position. Odell Beckham Jr. can be a high-end wide receiver 3. Darrell Henderson Jr. is an RB2. And then Tyler Higbee, I think, is startable as a tight end 1.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take Green Bay to cover and Green Bay to win. On the Packers side, I'm with you. Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, and A.J. Dillon. I think all 3 of these guys are going to be ones at their position, especially, Alan Lazardi's questionable. He's been banged up, so MVS does have some intrigue as being that complimentary guy. Hopefully, I definitely like to see that 2 weeks in a row, so that'd be great for him. On the Rams side, Matt Stafford, yeah, he's a borderline QB1 for me in this matchup. Minnesota was able to cook Green Bay, so I think Cooper Kupp is got to have some high and wide receiver 1 value. There's the main guy who's going to get a lot of targets. Darrell Henderson, he's in play, of course, as a low end RB1 with his volume. And yeah, hopefully, after the bye week, they get Odell in this offense more. I think he has, wide receiver 3 value. You just want to see it at this point, man. And he's definitely running out of chances. He's been dropped in some leagues too. I'm definitely scooping him up to give him a chance. But I can understand someone that was so frustrated with him that he got dropped in leagues. So yeah, Tyler Higbee, I think he's definitely in that low end tight end 1 category. He's been very serviceable this year, giving you safe performances.
Yeah, definitely like that. Let's move on to Sunday Night Football, man, and we've got the 6-5 Cleveland Browns traveling to Baltimore to take on the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens. This game takes place at 8:20 p.m. The Baltimore Ravens are 4-point favorites in this game with a 46.5 point total. Greg, where do you stand here with this matchup?
Yeah, I'm also taking the under in this game, taking the Cleveland Browns to cover, but I'm going to take the Ravens to win. I think just, Cleveland's strength is running the football. That's one of Baltimore's weaknesses. So, except last week's, but, I think this will keep Cleveland in it. But Lamar Jackson's not going to lose this game. I do love Lamar. He should be back. Ready to go. He's questionable, but I think he'd be able to play. He's a, top QB option. As far as the rushing, is slimmed down to, again, Devontae Freeman, Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, I think it definitely has the slider edge. It's in the low end RB2 category. Marquise Hollywood Brown, low end wide receiver 1, and Bateman, I think is with Lamar Jackson being back, sneaks back into that low end wide receiver 2 category as well. On Cleveland side, all I do want to play is Nick Chubb, and just give me more of Nick Chubb. If Kareem Hunt can come back and play, we'll see if he can, but I mean, Cleveland, I believe, has a bye next week, and then so I wouldn't be surprised if they hold Hunt through the bye. But yeah, other than that, just give me more Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I am going to take the over here. I'm going to take Baltimore to cover, Baltimore to win. On the Baltimore side, Devontae Freeman, high-end RB2, has been seeing some good work lately, so definitely like that. Mark Andrews, I think, deserves more respect, needs to be discussed with those top 3 guys more often,
right.
Because he's been killing it. Hopefully, Hollywood Brown can regain his mantle as a wide receiver 1. He was killing it, obviously. A thigh injury for somebody who runs really, really fast is not ideal. So we'll see what happens there. Rashad Bateman, I think he's stuck in like forever wide receiver 3 territory. It seems like he's not getting touchdowns. He's not getting like 100-yard games. So definitely want to see more from him. And obviously, I think Lamar Jackson definitely a QB1 for sure. And then on the Cleveland side, yeah, Nick Chubb. I mean, he's obviously the guy you want to go to in this Browns offense. If Kareem Hunt can go, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
we'll see what happens if they do hold him out, like you were saying. Because they do have the bye next week. Donovan Peoples-Jones, if he's available, I'd like to play him, but the guy hasn't played or hasn't. I think he was injured last week and was limited the week before. So obviously that's also tied to Baker's health as well. How's Baker doing? Can he throw the ball down the field? So we'll see if Case
accurately too.
Yeah, accurately, right?
Oh, I forgot to mention Jarvis Landry. Yeah.
Well, no, I think Jarvis Landry is dealing with the knee injury, so I don't even know if he can play. I'm not even going to bother mentioning him anyway. But Austin Hooper, I think, has some intrigue here. Baltimore has been weak against the tight end position, and so there's way too many tight ends to choose from. But if I have to choose one, it will be Austin Hooper. But I'm curious to see if Baker even plays in this one with how banged up he is. Moving on to the final game of the week, the Monday Night Football game. We have the 3-7 Seattle Seahawks traveling to Washington to take on the 4-6 Washington football team. This game has a 46-point total where the Seahawks are 1-point favorites, essentially a pick 'em here. In terms of this game, I will take the under. I will take Seattle to cover. I will take Seattle to win. Russell Wilson just sneaks into quarterback 1 territory for me. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, those guys, both obviously wide receiver 2s, but they have upside for way, way more than that. We know that. So definitely going to put those guys in your lineup. Gerald Everett, he's been coming on as of late. I think he has an opportunity here to be a tight end 1 coming into this week. I have no idea what's going on with the running back situation, but it's a decently good matchup. My guess is that it will be Collins, but I honestly don't know if I want anything to do with it at this point. For Washington, Taylor Heineke, he's a borderline quarterback 1. I think he actually is a QB1 for me. Terry McLaurin, he's a wide receiver 1, 2, borderline 1 and 2. And then Antonio Gibson, he's an RB2. Had a much better stat line last week. Almost had 100 yards rushing. And then Logan Thomas expected to make his return off of injured reserve. Matchup is real nice here against Seattle, so I think he has tight end 1 upside as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take Washington to cover. I'm going to take Washington to win. I just need to see it from Seattle, especially, Russell Wilson. Maybe it's still affecting him a little bit, but on his side, I have him as a high-end QB2. I don't really like the running backs, but if you have a starting running back like Alex Collins, it seems like they cap him, right? When he gets to 10, 11 carries, they just stop giving him the ball. And they need to get in the red zone for him to kind of get touchdowns. So I have Alex Collins as a RB3. Lockett and DK, though, I'm playing them as wide receiver 2s. But again, I agree with you with that wide receiver 1 upside if Seattle could figure it out. On Washington's side, I do like Taylor Heineke. I would probably rank him higher than Wilson in this matchup. AG, I love him in this matchup as well, especially because Seattle's pretty bad against running backs. And Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas, the 2 pass catchers you definitely want. McLaurin can always make special plays like he did last week. And Logan Thomas, I think, enters back straight into that mid-tier tight end 1 category. Was averaging about 10 PPR points before he got injured.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that you have Heineke higher than Wilson. I actually also have Heineke higher than Wilson. 1 spot. Heineke's my quarterback 11, Wilson my quarterback 12. So
there you go.
All right, let's get into the starts of the week, Greg. So, Greg, quarterback start of the week on this Thanksgiving special or Thanksgiving week here. Who you giving to these people?
I'm going with Superman himself, Cam Newton, going against Miami, the Dolphins in this matchup. Miami is very bad, been bad against quarterbacks all season long, giving up almost 2 touchdowns, passing touchdowns a game, but also giving up some rushing yards as well, almost 290 passing yards as well. Cam Newton coming off, straight off his week, threw pretty accurately, had 2 passing touchdowns, 27 pass attempts, but again, that rushing that he always going to bring, had a rushing touchdown as well. Just will have a safe floor, but I think with the points in this game, he's going to have an explosive day.
Definitely love that, man. It's all fantasy football is definitely more fun when Cam is a QB1.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of things that are needed in fantasy football, you compared this man to a turkey, and so he will make a turkey, I think, out of the Indianapolis Colts defense. I'm talking about Tom Brady going up against the Colts, who've allowed the 8th most fantasy points to the quarterback position. Brady's been slowed down a little bit these last couple of weeks, but has a nice get-right spot here versus Indy, and Brady might even get Antonio Brown back, which would be an even bigger boost. So, Tom Brady, stay away from the strawberries, stay away from all the things, the avocados and things you don't eat, and just focus on getting ready to destroy the Indianapolis Colts pass defense.
Yeah, he just needed the Giants to get right real quick. He's back. His boy's back, so he'll be all right.
Yeah, man, definitely. Greg, your running back start of the week, man. What do you got?
I mentioned I love his matchup. I do love Antonio Gibson going against Seattle this week. I think the game script works for him, as I have Washington to win the game. Seattle giving up over 100 rushing yards a game to running backs, as well as almost 7 receptions a game to running backs. So AG, a guy that's going to get almost 20 carries in this game. I think he's going to have over 100-yard day, which would be the first of the season. But I really believe in his success in this game, and I think he's definitely going to be a great play for the people this week.
Definitely like that one. Like I said, his performance, he was much better last week. And so if he can carry that into a good matchup against Seattle, that would definitely be nice. I'm actually going to piggyback off your start of the week from last week. That is Dave Montgomery, because I definitely love this matchup here. Going up against Detroit. Over the last 3 weeks, Detroit has given up the 10th most PPR points to the running back position. Monty's going to have the benefit of playing in an Andy Dalton-led offense, which will mean more rush attempts for him, smaller likelihood of losing out on touchdowns, and possibly even more targets in the passing game. And again, can't reiterate how good this matchup is here. I think Monty's in store for a top 5 week.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. That's going to be a smash spot. He's going to be the MVP of Thanksgiving.
Definitely, man will be chomping the turkey leg on your television screen at about 3:00. Wide receiver start of the week, Greg. What do we got here, man?
Oh, man, you already know the guy on the board. I'm going to go Brandon Ayuk going against Minnesota. Just the matchup is going to be money this week. Minnesota got killed by Javonte, getting killed by wide receivers all season, giving up 195 receiving yards a game to the wide receiver position. Brandon Ayuk has been tuning up just last couple of weeks, getting over, 2 games over 8 targets. I mean, at least 7 targets. 3 of the last 4 games with 7 targets. This man's usage has been high, and the snap share has been up as well. As season high 93% last week. Time for season high. Yeah, start this man up. Brandon Ayuk's blow up game is today. Don't read that day.
Yeah, man. I mean, the man is officially out of the Kyle Shanahan doghouse, so you got to love that. Yeah, he was definitely in consideration for me in start of the week territory, but I ended up going with another guy, Jerry Jeudy, going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers look like a bad matchup on paper, especially when you go on Yahoo and you get ready to start Jerry Jeudy and they're like, oh, it's red. But over the last 3 weeks, the LA Chargers allow the 9th most PPR points to the wide receiver position. Jerry Jeudy leads the Broncos in target share over the last 3 games since returning from injury at 25%. And again, like I mentioned, Chargers started strong, but over the last 3 games, they've given up at least 22 PPR points to the opposing wide receiver 1. All 3 of those wide receivers went over 100 yards, and 2 of them saw the end zone that day. Start Jerry Jeudy up.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Those are some good numbers right there.
Greg, your tight end start of the week, man. What do we got?
I'm gonna go with Rob Gronkowski coming against the Indianapolis Colts. That little tight end quarterback start of the week stack. Because Tom Brady's got to get his main guy, one of his main guys, Rob Gronkowski, back more healthy this week. In a great matchup going against Indianapolis, who's giving up 8 targets a game to the tight end position. It's a pretty bad number. They're bottom 10 in the league against tight ends. And Gronk in that end zone, that's where Tom Brady loves to use him. I think he gets a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, definitely gotta like the stack there. I'm actually gonna go with Logan Thomas as my tight end start of the week, and this is tentative. I mean, assuming that he is activated off the IR and plays on Monday night. But he's been on IR, should be coming back, and just in time for this cake of a matchup here against Seattle, which allows the 4th most PPR points to opposing tight ends over these last 3 weeks. They just gave up 2 touchdowns to Zach Ertz last week as well, and he comes just in time to a team that's in desperate need of a number 2 option in the pass game, and one that utilizes the tight end. The tight end runs a ton of routes, sees some targets in this game, and Logan Thomas, who, like Greg said, was averaging about 10 PPR points prior to his injury, steps right in to resume his tight end 1 role.
Yeah, gotta love that. Logan Thomas, one of the breakout candidates for a lot of people this year, so hopefully he can finish strong for the people.
Definitely, and this one is actually, I wanted to make him a stream of the week because he's got some. I mean, Greg, I screenshotted, I sent it to you. The schedule down the stretch,
beautiful.
It's just, I've never seen so much green in my life. I mean, that schedule is awesome. So this is more like a rest of season type of deal here with Logan Thomas. But now it's time for everybody's favorite game, Get Money. And on this special Thanksgiving week, I actually get to go first.
Yes, sir.
Because I just do. So my first pick here, I'm actually going to go with the man himself, the bad man, Jonathan Taylor. I just like his first name, so I'm going to go with him.
Love that. It's a great first pick.
9,800, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth every dollar. McCaffrey was over 10,000 in the years he was doing it, but JT's getting like 50 points for you. So I'm gonna take Najee Harris at 8,800, going against Cincinnati, who's also been very bad against running back. So I think this is a nice bounce back for Najee to go back to regular top 3 value, top 5 value.
I like that. I'm actually gonna go with Elijah Moore. 6,400 going up against Houston. I'll stick him in there as my first wide receiver.
As my other running back, I'm going to take Miles Sanders at 6,100 going against the Giants. I think this is a nice little breakout game for Miles.
I'm going to go Brandon Cooks as my second wide receiver, get that in-game stack there, 6,500 going up against the New York Jets.
I'm going to go my wide receiver start of the week, Brandon Ayuk at 6,300 going against Minnesota.
For my wide receiver, my third wide receiver here, I'm going with my wide receiver start of the week, Jerry Jeudy, 6,100 going up against Denver.
My second wide receiver, I'm going to take Chris Godwin going against Indy at 7,600.
In my flex, it's almost like putting a running back here, but I'm gonna go Deebo Samuel, 8,000 in my flex.
Like that. For the tight end, I'm gonna go Rob Gronkowski, 6,500. My tight end start of the week.
For my second running back, I'm actually gonna let me just make sure I don't have money to go get somebody else. I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon, 6,900 going up against the L.A. Rams.
I'm going to go Adam Thielen as my third wide receiver, 7,200. In that same Minnesota San Fran game. So got 2 wide receivers in that game.
I'm gonna go for my defense with the. I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins, 3,400. Their defense has been playing a little bit better in recent weeks, so I'll take them.
My quarterback, I'm gonna take my quarterback start of the week, Cam Newton, at 8,000. They value him. They knew what to put him at. It's crazy.
That's why I was reluctant to pick Miami once I realized your start of the week was Cam, because all those Cam touchdowns just hurt me even more. But I am gonna go with my quarterback start of the week here in my quarterback stream of the week here, Tyrod Taylor, 7,400.
I'm gonna go with the cheap play, Chris Conley, in my flex at 5,200. The reason why I could afford all these people, and hopefully, Tyrod could throw now some balls to Chris Conley in the flex.
Hope Chris Conley decides he doesn't want to play football.
Yeah, that's all also could happen.
My tight end, because it's the last spot I have to fill. I'm going with Pat Freiermuth.
Love it.
5,300.
And I'm gonna take the Philadelphia Eagles defense, 4,300, going against the Giants. Even though you changed the offense coordinator, the quarterback is still the same, so I think they can still make some things happen.
Wow, this is awesome. I came into this thinking I was going to have to change my lineup. You were going to steal somebody from me, and you didn't steal anybody from me. So that's really good. Reading off my lineup here, Tyrod Taylor is my quarterback, 7,400. A.J. Dillon is my first running back, 6,900. Jonathan Taylor is my second running back, 9,800. Brandon Cooks as my wide receiver, 6,500. Elijah Moore is my second wide receiver, 6,400. Jerry Jeudy is my third wide receiver, 6,100. Pat Freiermuth, 5,300. Deebo Samuel, my flex, 8,000. And Miami Dolphins defense, 3,400.
Yeah, I have Cam Newton at my quarterback. My quarterback started the week at 8,000 going against Miami. Najee Harris, 8,800 as my RB1. Miles Sanders, 6,100 going against the Giants. Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, started the week, 6,300. My wide receiver 2, Chris Godwin at 7,600. Adam Thielen, my wide receiver 3, 7,200 going against San Fran. At my tight end, I have Rob Gronkowski at 6,500. Chris Conley at my flex at 5,200, and the Philadelphia Eagles going against the Giants at 4,300.
Oh man, well, definitely looking forward to this one. It's always a good battle with you, my friend. That being said, everybody, that is the show. We have done it. You have consumed the entire Spottieottiedope-A-Show. Congratulations. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you check us out next week. That is right. You will not see us or hear from us until next Monday when we are recapping week 12. So that being said, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holiday. Make sure you shout out what you're thankful for. We're thankful for you. Thankful for all y'all out there that take the time to spend this time with us and subscribe to the show and support us and everything that we do in regards to fantasy football diagnostics and the podcast. So with that being said, have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you, and we're out of here. Peace.
Yeah.